Dobar dan i dobrodošli na MCHEMS finale. Lepo je videti vas uživo i hvala vam svima što ste došli, što ste danas ovde sa nama i što ste nam omogućili da pored toga što ovaj događaj ide online, da ga imamo i uživo i ovo je zapravo prvi MCHEM uživo događaj, mali, ali prvi u ovoj godini. Dakle, godina za nama je bila izazovna i za MCHEMS program kao i za sve ostalo. Sa tim online programom naši učesnici, nažalost, nisu dobili priliku da imaju diskusije koje su interesantne, neku interakciju koja je posebna i da osete tu neku energiju koja je specifična za ovaj program i koja se širi onako i među učesnicima i oko programa, ali verujem da smo onako zajedničkim snagama ipak uspeli da realizujemo program, odnosno sve delove programa koje smo bili u mogućnosti da realizujemo u ovim vanrednim, da tako kažem, okolnostima. MCHEMS-ovci su bili i dalje motivisani i spremni da učestvuju i da se takmiče, prvo za polufinale, a onda i za finale. Tako da su najbolji ovde danas sa nama, naši finalisti, koji su u prethodnih nekoliko meseci radili na projektima koje su dobili od svojih top menadžera iz kompanije iz kojih dolaze mentori, sa mogućnošću da konsultuju naša 3 člana upravnog odbora koji su danas sa nama ovde u ulozi specijalnog žirija. Dakle, danas ćemo čuti 3 prezentacije, finalne prezentacije projekata. Svaki par će imati oko 10 minuta za prezentaciju, a nakon toga imamo Q&A session koji će trajati otprilike oko 5 minuta. Nakon toga imamo kratku pauzu kada će žiri da sredi utiske, razmeni svoje utiske iz ovih sesija mentorskih i sa današnjih prezentacije i da odluči, odnosno izabere pobednike MCHEMS-a za 2020. godinu. Dakle, danas će prvo prezentovati Mirjana iz Banka Inteze i Milan sa Ekonomskog fakulteta, zatim Jelena iz Philip Morrisa i Danilo takođe sa Ekonomskog fakulteta i Daniel iz OTP grupe i Sonja sa Fakulteta organizacionih nauka. A žiri je u sastavu Milana Jević-Gledović, vice president u Delezeu, Borislav Miljanović, CEO Reprezent sistema i Svetoslav Tanasov, generalni direktor Coca-Cola Hellenic, koji će nam se uskoro pridružiti. Tako da evo možemo da počnemo. Srećno svima.
Dear jury, dear representatives of the MCHEM, good afternoon. My name is Milan Milošević, and with my mentor Mirjana Mitrović, I'm going to present you the proposal of fintech partnership with Banka Inteza. So let's start. Here you can see our content. Big tech players such as Google, Amazon, or Apple are taking the first steps into financial services. By acquiring banking licenses, banks are offering additional services and forging external alliances in order to build an ecosystem and therefore strengthen customer engagement in banks. The most feared risks are credits, transition to digital strategies, and cybersecurity. Fintechs are focusing on e-commerce area, especially on buy now, pay later methods. If you look at the graph, you can see total transaction value in fintechs worldwide in billions of dollars. This is another indication that fintech industry is one of the fastest growing industry in the world. The most common way traditional financial institutions want to keep up with technology is to enter into partnership with fintechs. Also, there are some fintechs that become banks, and that banks called neobanks. Also, there are some banks that build their own companies, and these banks are called challenger banks. As you can guess, the changes that fintechs introduced in the banking industry is digitalization of cash and moving towards non-physical channels. Here you can see some interesting facts, such as 2 out of 3 financial transactions are now made online, and that more than 500 new fintechs are created every year. On this slide, you can see the rise of new and challenger banks. N26, is one of the biggest fintechs in Europe. Revolut is one of the biggest unicorns in Europe. And last but not least is Kakao Bank, which is leader in Asia. An interesting fact about Kakao Bank is that they arose from online chat application. Now, I will talk a little about best practice banking and fintech partnerships. In 2016, Raiffeisen Bank has introduced a new financing solution as a part of strategic partnership with Austrian fintech Credit2. Cashpresso is easy and quick buy now, pay later method. In only 10 minutes, you can finish the whole process, registration and verification. And verification is done via video call. Later, when you get money, you can use it to pay for partner shops, both offline and online. Another in a series of successful partnerships between banks and fintechs is between ING DiBa and Flowcast. ING DiBa is one of the biggest banks in Europe. Leveraging the power of machine learning, Flowcast allows ING DiBa to be more proactive about its loan portfolio and predict which customers will have some difficulty repaying loans. On that way, ING DiBa improves their internal processes. As suggested to us, we wanted to see what fears have customers in Serbia when they shopping online. We wanted to find out if Serbian is a market ready for innovation. We asked our respondents a few questions. We asked them if they have made online payment at least once, and 94% said yes. Also, we asked them if they had more confidence in online payment than before COVID-19 pandemic. And 37% said they agree or totally agree. After this research, we realized that customers in Serbia have more confidence in online payment, but still don't have absolute confidence in online payments. Thank you. Mirjana?
Milan. We will now continue with the following slides and start with internal organization propose. And this we start with a quote from Carlo Messina, who is CEO of Intesa Sanpaolo Group, who himself said that in fintech the fintechs will be considered in the future design of our bank. So even CEO of Intesa Group is confirming the importance of this dynamic industry. And before going into proposal of our organization, we want to share with you some interesting research which was done by Harvard Business Review, which says what are the most common challenges that financial institutions face in competing with fintechs. And among these, the most dominant are the ones who are more than 50% respondents said, such as institutional inertia, the lack of entrepreneurial mindset, and also silos, let's say silos focus or less of teamwork. There are also challenges such as lack of competence in artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, but all of these bring us to conclusions that banks should definitely, but not only banks, but classical financial institutions move towards more open and different organizational approach, and they should also foster innovation. This sounds easy, but actually why is innovation so critical? PricewaterhouseCoopers research says that companies which are the most innovative are having the highest growth rates on the long-term period. According to this research, companies which are the most innovative have predicted more than 60% of growth in 5 years period. So innovation is not only something which is important for the culture, for the new products, but it's also very important for profitability. However, innovation requires really completely new management discipline. It requires completely new organizational approach. It has to be managed by the total organization. It cannot be left only to a couple of people. And it has to be, in our opinion, addressed with these 4 pillars. Talent, do we have right people at right place? Senior sponsorship, are the stakeholders involved? Do we have support from the decision-making body? Partnerships, we cannot innovate only internally. We have to also innovate with partnership because there is a lack of capacity internally, and organizational culture, which is very important. It takes us to the section number 4. And this is what is our proposal towards internal approach and organization of Banca Intesa. In this area, we have been inspired by ING DiBa, which is among top 10 banks in Europe. And actually, their chief operating officer said that we should acknowledge that even banks are tech companies because we rely on technology and data much more than before. And even our relation with our clients are depending on data because more we know about our clients, the better relation will be. Therefore, we are proposing here an organization approach which is so-called agile, the most common organizational approach in IT industry, but this approach is now moving also in other sectors. So basically, we want to give the right balance of top-down control and individual freedom. And how are we going to do this? This is just one example of organizational approach. So instead of typical, let's say, units, we are proposing here so-called squads. Squads are small teams up to 10 people which work on certain initiative up to 6 months. Once the initiative is finished, they get reformed and they are assigned to another initiative. What are we achieving with this? We are achieving that there are no people who are aligned to certain people, but rather to initiatives of the bank and the company. So, thank you very much. Here. Okay, good. And squads are also collected in tribes. So we have a group of squads, and tribe will be something like division in the modern terms. And what is interesting about this is that there is still hierarchy in this agile, but it's much more flat. So we don't have coordinators, supervisors, heads, and so on, but couple of leaders among these organization units. And what I personally find very interesting is this chapter role. This is basically a team of people which is working cross-functional with specific expertise. For example, data analyst. Because today it might happen in one department, they do one super fancy analysis, but other department doesn't know about it because these guys are either not sharing or maybe they are keeping this monopoly of knowledge and so on. So with chapter functions, you are avoiding monopoly of knowledge because these guys have expertise which can provide to different squads and tribes analysis, whatever needed. And of course, there are some roles such as agile coaches, and we also acknowledge that certain roles such as finance or legal and compliance cannot be fully agile according to this organization, but we still believe that in business especially, we can be much more flexible if we implement this kind of approach. Now we will move towards our proposal. What fintechs are we selecting for cooperation with Banca Intesa? And I will start with one proposal, which is e-commerce tool called LeapPay. It actually follows this buy now, pay later trend. And actually it provides, this is the process how it goes, but I will try to explain it in simple words. For example, if Milan wants to buy a sofa in IKEA, he goes to IKEA website, he doesn't have money, he doesn't want to go to a bank and to bother so much with the procedures, credit cards, but he wants to buy it. Then LeapPay application provides him to buy this sofa, which is, let's say, €1,000, on, let's say, 10 installments. So he pays this the whole year, month by month, without interest rate. So where is the catch? IKEA has incentive to pay a fee to LeapPay to provide this option to its buyers in order to incentivize the purchase. And LeapPay doesn't have enough funding capability to keep all these purchases and portfolio internally. So LeapPay is reselling this portfolio to banks at some discount rate. So basically, LeapPay, out of this fee from IKEA, gives portion to bank and portion keeps from himself. So basically, we are proposing this cooperation because client has the benefit of shopping easily, fast, and without interest. And bank has the benefit of getting this portfolio at smaller interest rate than in classical way, but bank has no operational cost. Everything is done fully online. Basically, it's externalized by LeapPay. Another proposal that we have is Maria. This is mortgage artificial appraisal. Actually, a scientific study said that 40% of people find purchasing of apartment the most stressful event in their life. I'm sure most of us had this event in their life. And we want to resolve one part of this process, and this is evaluation of property. When someone is buying an apartment, then external agency go to your apartment. They say, okay, this is value 100,000. Maybe you think it's more or less, but you depend on this opinion. It takes a couple of times, a couple of days. It has a lot of documentation. So we are proposing that this can be done in-house in the bank by artificial intelligence tool, which will evaluate the apartment based on available data in Cadastre, in bank credit risk history, on the Google Maps, and so on. Because the value of one property is actually done based on location, quality of the building, and so on. So we propose this going to be in-house based on historical data the bank has. And basically, sorry, time. Okay. With this, bank will have shorter procedure, and the client will have cheaper evaluation because we will give this a special discount. We come to financial case for both fintechs, and we are positive already in year number 1 in both cases. For LeanPay, it's just about, let's say, interest income and some credit risk costs. Not to go now into details because we don't have enough time. In the Maria case, we have assumed a certain number of mortgage loans times this fee that we will collect. We have taken into account cost of application, then maintenance fee, and this also brought us positive effect, 3.5 million for the LeanPay in 3 years period and 2,100 in Maria case. And for the end, we wanted also to share the risk, as it was suggested to us, to have a risk mitigation plan, to think what can potentially go wrong. Maybe the one which is most important one is that the clients who use credit cards might migrate to some extent to LeanPay, but we want to compensate this by the fact that with LeanPay we will get some additional new clients with whom we will earn certain fees, interest income, and so on. And basically, for the end, this is implementation plan, which actually shows us that this can be live in second quarter 2002, but I will not go now into details because we already broke the time. So thank you very much for your attention, and we are open for questions.
Thank you very much.
Now we hear each other.
Okay, yes,
Thank you very much. I think I have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
And the first one would be, in the beginning of the presentation, you mentioned like you were testing the readiness of the Serbian market and the population, the citizens towards the digital solutions and this type of offerings. Would you feel that you have a confident case to disrupt the market even without the interest of the Serbian citizens?
Yes, we are confident because these tools that we are proposing, they are niche tools. So we don't expect that we take out the whole market. This will not be realistic. What is objective is that this tool, basically, it exists already in Western Europe. The most famous is Klarna, which worth now 30 billion euros, for example. This was GDP of Serbia 10 years ago. So they said, their experience said that usually it's done by millennials and used by millennials and by people who don't, let's say, they're not so eager or they need money very quick or not eager going into banks. So we expect from this search, which we showed, that there is an important portion of people who are now more confident after COVID. Not everyone are confident. That's why we should be very careful in our marketing approach and our tone of voice when talking about this. But we still think we have enough critical group and enough niche to make this project profitable and successful.
Second question, just from my side, regarding the artificial intelligence on the value evaluations on the mortgages. Do you have some type of data and the facts on the accuracy of these systems? Have them where they have been piloted, and what type of experience have you relied on in this business case that they are doing the correct job without big mistakes?
Sure, it's a very good question. Thank you. This is especially now relevant in the recent time because we see that properties prices are going very, very high. But we also see what we have at the market. This is classical appraisal, which is done by external agency. How they do it, they do basically, they take comparison method, they discount a certain amount of value which is given on the market, and this is basically their way. What is this tool? This is actually one IT company in Serbia. They haven't still partnered with the bank, but we saw the test solution. How they work is they collect historical data of the properties which are available in the last 10 years. They take, of course, location of the property, which is value. They take all the objects which are around. And based on all these data, they predict what will be the value of how much the current value of the property can go up and down. And then they give proposal. So for sure, it's not perfect. However, we think it's even much better than the current proposal, which is basically done only by a comparison method, mostly with a couple of properties which are found on ads. So artificial intelligence tool relies on thousands of data which are available from Katastra, from credit risk in the bank, from Google Maps, Google Earth, and so on. Therefore, we think that this will be better. We still don't exclude people. We want to make it internally. So free, we are here counted a free external free person will need to be hired to work with this artificial tool. So they will always, again, cross-check the solution they got. But still, we believe relying on so much data, it's maybe better than relying on one person in some agency. And plus, we will also avoid risk of frauds. because banks work with hundreds of evaluation agencies, then you can never diminish potential risk that some client might agree with some external agency to give some valuation, which is maybe not accurate. So data are more credible.
I would like to add some about this. Is this any legal obstacles about artificial intelligence as a tool for these kind of activities?
Good point. Yes. If we would do only by this artificial intelligence tool, we will currently not be allowed because central bank requires desktop evaluation with people. That's why we want a mix. We want this tool, but to centralize with 3 people in the bank in comparison to now working with hundreds of agencies. So we cannot do it only with app. We need to still have certified appraisals people, but there will be a couple of them in the bank working with this tool.
Thank you for the presentation. I particularly appreciated the business cases at the end, as well as the consumer feedback, as well as the risks. I wanted to ask you one question. What part of these numbers that we saw are going to be incremental, and what part of them are going to be cannibalization of existing business? And how is the profitability margin versus the conventional business?
But maybe it will be easier. Yeah. So basically, here we of course did a bit more simplified case than we will do it in the real world. But most important components are there. Basically, we estimated what will be the sales, for example, with LeanPay. So this is 1924 million euro. This is actually current market is 80% of current market, and we estimate will be 80 because basically now the most of point of sales commerce is done via Technomania. Not to now bother in details, basically we applied the interest income which we will receive from LeanPay, and we took out risk costs. In this case, there is everything is plain and much more, let's say, it's present income in contrast to Maria case. So we said, okay, we will have some risk cost, which we even increase a bit more than risk cost on the market, because not all loans will be returned. So there will be some clients who will default, and this we calculate on average portfolio, not to go too many into details. In terms of Maria, and these are direct revenues. Basically, we will have as well revenues from new acquired clients, which we didn't include here. So there will be clients who become our new customers, and we will earn from them not only from this portfolio, but also from opening account, doing transactions, and so on. This is only what we earned basically on portfolio, which we buy from LeanPay on this interest rate. When it comes to Maria, we just looked how many mortgage loans we will have each year. These are actually real numbers of Intesa with estimated growth rates. And we applied basically fee income because now the client will pay to us, not to the agency, but they will pay twice less. So on average, it's 100 euro. They will pay with us 50 euro. And we also took into account cost of additionally hired staff and cost of application. In this case, basically, we will have better effects once in the next years. We put this cost of application immediately one time in 2021.
Second one.
Sure.
Do you see this both increasing the market share of Intesa, or you see this increasing the overall market of consumer goods, or flats?
Good point. That will be asked as well by my supervisor. In the first case, we have increase of market share of Intesa, because here we talk about pure sales that we do, our core business, selling loans. And in first case, we see that our market share in point of sales market is increasing. Currently, only Raiffeisen is doing this with Technomania. We are not active. However, with this tool, we are planning to take over. So yes, this brings us new customers and market share and revenues, profits. In this case, we are more focusing on, we are having new revenue stream. However, here we are more focusing on customer experience. They will have shorter process for mortgage loan. They will pay less. And for the bank, we will have less potential of fraud and quicker process. So this is definitely more on the market share, and this is more on internal benefits. Welcome. Thank you.
For the energy and the presentation. It was
Thank
great.
you as well for your questions.
Should I wait for the slides? Okay. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jelena, and this is Danilo. And we really feel very privileged to join this audience today to present the burning issue case. We really hope you will extract from it as much value as possible. So let's quickly turn to agenda. We will start by explaining the current situation, then what is our objective, where we want to go, how we'll get there, given all constraints that we have as a tobacco industry, and at the end, of course, how we measure the success of our campaign. So let's start. At the beginning, let's look at some really burning facts. Today, I don't know if you are aware, but we have 1.1 billion people who smoke in the world. And even though we have many measures to reduce these numbers, many governments have, this number is going to stay approximately at the same level 5 years from now. Also, at the same time, what we can see is that we have currently 90 million IQOS users in the world. So those are people who already switched to these better alternatives. But what we realized is that many people, they don't have, or they don't have accurate information about these products. So the aim of this project is to build and increase category understanding and category motivation. So we basically can accelerate this journey towards smoke-free future. If we look at Serbia market data, what we can conclude, basically we all know smoking is very bad for our health, but do you know why is that? If you ask people in Serbia, 80% of them will say nicotine is primary source of harm, while burning doesn't come to their mind spontaneously, although is recognized when it's prompted. We need basically to elevate this burning from prompted recognition to spontaneous one. And maybe you wonder why we need to do this. On this slide, you can see the explanation. Basically, what is the problem with cigarette? When you consume one traditional cigarette, you burn tobacco. When you burn tobacco, you produce smoke. In this smoke, you have more than 6,000 chemicals, like carbon monoxide, arsenic, tar, and so on. And around 100 of these chemicals can be linked to smoking-related diseases. When you use IQOS, you do not burn tobacco, you just heat tobacco, so there is no smoke, no ash, no all these harmful chemicals. So it's obvious where we want to go from this situation. We basically want to grow understanding of burning, CO, and tar as the primary sources of harm when you consume conventional cigarettes. And consequently, this will increase desire for IQOS, and this will increase confidence to talk about reduced risk at all. How we'll get there? Given all the constraints that we have, we are aware this is a very long journey. It will take years. We don't have magic button, and we are very regulated. We need to stay within certain regulatory box. So we cannot be too creative. But still, for this occasion today, we decided to use 360 approach through whole consumer journey. And this is going to be split both in branded and non-branded narrative. Danilo will take you through our proposal. We hope you will like it. But before he starts, just one thing to mention here. What is the main idea behind this non-branded narrative? Basically, we realized people, they smoke, and they don't see any issue with that. So we decided to create a problem for them and to give them solution to that problem. How we'll try to do that? Let's see on the following slides. Danilo?
Yeah. So, to start with non-branded part, firstly, I want to tell you about our idea about our communication umbrella platform that we will use. Based on what Jelena said so far, until now, smoke was blurring the truth. We decided to clear the air and understand that we have an issue here, the burning issue. And this is exactly we want to share with you. Why exactly the burning issue? This is our buzzword. It grasps our attention. It contains all the truth we want to share with the world. It opens many possibilities to address various burning topics and burning questions. And when we all get to understand this burning issue, we are going to be clearly to able why the RRP products is the right solution. So non-branded campaign will be focused on the digital channel. Therefore, we created a microsite, you can see here, with same expression, named the Goruchi problem or the burning issue, with some unbranded messages that we want to address to that burning issue. So we want to create the traffic to this website through paid media channels, and this is how the banners will look like. We have some interesting animations about fire and smoke to attract people to click and to reveal the burning truth. So this is how our website will look like. 70% of the website will be about harmfulness of tobacco, and the other 30% will be about other burning problems. There we have different educative materials to clear the smoke and to give answers to some burning questions, plus some more engaging, like quiz named "Who Plays with Fire Gets Burned." And that quiz and that games will help us to activate our visitors in interesting and witty way. In other hand, we had some other sections, like "What's Burning?" We will try to raise people awareness about the problem of burning in various industries, like automotive, cooking, burnout, and so on. The next section is warm advice or hot tip. There will be simple advices how to change our bad habits. And the last one will be where there's no fire, there's no smoke. There will be true stories, testimonials of people who quit burning cigarettes. An additional way to increase awareness is consumer activation through hostesses at legal age point of sales and at meeting points. And here we developed one funny way to play the quiz where legal age smokers should fill the blanks with words associated with burning, like in very famous songs, such as "Come on baby, light my fire," or "Smoke on the water, fire in the sky," and so on. And the next idea is related to CSR projects. We aim to link these activities to topic of harm reduction or elimination of smoke, such as local community stakeholders, some innovative ideas for smart benches in park areas, or the other thing, community investment with volunteering actions for employees, like anti-littering actions and tree planting. And here is detailed timeline for our non-branded campaign. So now we are going to branded campaign. As Jelena already mentioned, we will use 360 approach in our branded campaign in various channels like CRM, paid media, retail, bridging, SEO, and other things. But for the sake of time, I will present you just the most interesting ways how we're going to tell this our branded story. And I now just flip through this 360 approach, but we came here again in Q&A session, of course. And here is some interesting branded material from our category motivation toolbox on next two slides. First is better not burn for food. Same goes for tobacco. And one more very interesting and impactful, flying pigs impossible. Cigarette-like satisfaction without smoke possible. IQOS heats tobacco instead of burning it, so it doesn't produce fire, ash, or smoke. The next idea is to utilize every pack of our cigarettes. This is the channel, our communication channel with widest reach. So we want to insert in every pack like paper with QR code, and once you scan that QR code, you will see our commercial message, and of course you can leave details in addition you want to try IQOS. The next idea is in education purpose. It is Science Machine, a very effective tool to demonstrate live difference that you can see here between IQOS and cigarette consumption. Obviously, the yellow or the brown tuffer is a result of burning a cigarette, and the white tuffer is a result of heating an IQOS. And the next idea, in July, we are going across Serbia with our IQOS caravan to move awareness from Belgrade to other big cities in Serbia, like Kragujevac, Novi Sad, and Niš. In caravan setup, we will educate legal age smokers about burning and about alternatives, and we will give special offers to buy IQOS. And here is timeline for our branded campaign. And now I'll back floor to the Jelena to talk about KPIs.
To conclude, basically, because we are out of time, so all these ideas that Danilo presented, of course, need to yield some results, and we are obliged to show some progress on some KPIs. What we are allowed to show you today, out of all KPIs that we have, is the two following. The first one is obviously burning, and we need to increase this 31%, which is year-end last year, by 10 percentage points by the end of this year. And this is crucial for this understanding and for people to have this intrinsic motivation to come to new category and to stay there. And the second one is perceptual map. What does this mean? Basically, you can see this red box here is 55%, and those are traditionalists, people who are not ready to try new things. So we need basically to move them to RP primary and RP secondary target. So by 5% by the end of this year. So with this, I will conclude presentation. I'm sure you will have many questions, so thank you for your attention.
Yeah, of course.
This is the area of my life and daily job, and I understand you totally about your ideas. But main question for me, which I didn't see, is how did you formulate your main public, main consumer profile? Who is your personal, or I'd say a few, the most important publics which you are going to communicate with them through this campaign?
Okay. First, I need to emphasize that we can talk only to legal age smokers, basically, because we cannot talk to people who don't smoke or they are not they don't have this legal age. And in non-branded part, because this one we cannot limit who is entering to the site. There are general topics. It's going to be very wide. So we have paid to certain newspaper this, let's say, space for banners to take them to this site, to this microsite Gorući Problem. But regarding branded campaign, we talk mainly to people from 24 to 40. Let's say that's the main age group, both males and females, who are currently maybe some medium income, because this high income we already, let's say, sourced a lot so far. So this is going to be our next target base.
Okay. Okay. I think that only what you should add is analysis of this target group, where they are in communication every day, on which channels, what they use for the information, communication, and spending time.
Okay, I don't have the slides here. I have it now. So basically, we couldn't show all the details, but we believe that those people are using a lot social medias. So we will use social medias as well. We plan to engage some influencers that are popular for this target group, so to try to cover this. Also, we will have in shopping malls, they are very attractive, let's say, to many people, ICO zones. And these ICO zones we plan to revamp according to this campaign. So they will have this science machine in the zone, so you can see the difference between cigarette and IQOS. Then you can see all these prospects about burning, about this science. I think this science-based evidence is very important for people to see really the science behind and to understand that. So we will use all our, let's say, brand retail revamped into these new messages of burning.
I have a question which is related to the conversion. Do you have an estimate from all these people that will become aware? How many of them will go to real sales? And then the next one is estimated cost and benefit from the campaign.
Okay. So we have a detailed financial case behind, but we were not allowed to show the right numbers, but I can talk generally top line. So the payback period is going to be 12 months for the whole campaign, based on predictions that we have on the number of users that we will acquire. So we estimate that this is going to be incremental to our target for this and next year, about 10%. And with this number, we are going to have this payback period of 12 months. So, but I cannot tell the exact numbers. I'm so sorry.
Fair enough. And I guess if this materializes, you will decide what you can do, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, we can double it. We don't have issue in terms that we cannot have additional budget. We already, let's say, asked for additional budget, but currently we need to show progress before we get some more money.
Yeah. There might be an opportunity with the speed of development of this market. Maybe you don't wait for 1 year, but maybe half a year. That's a matter of bargaining with the sponsors.
Exactly. After 6 months, we will have a first checkpoint.
Thank you.
Thank you. And one question just from my side. I saw in your KPIs, you have clustered part of the KPIs related to the types of the smokers in 4 groups, if I'm not mistaken. And you are targeting, if I remember correctly, 5% turnover from the traditionalist groups to the IQOS users group. How and where is this campaign connected to the reasons of the tradition, to the definition of the traditional smokers and category? And do you feel that the campaign triggers that individual tipping point for them to transfer?
That's a very good question, because we cannot strictly measure contribution of this campaign versus some other campaign. This is measured in market research study. What can help us to see if we have results from this campaign is basically one question that they need to answer, and that is, what is the source of awareness? So where did you hear about this? So it can be on, I don't know, some congress or this burning campaign, or it can be IQOS Coach, it can be brand retail. So we expect to see this burning issue campaign in those sources, basically, and we don't have this so far at all. So we should see some progress there.
And maybe just to ask you for the end, who do you feel as additional stakeholders in your organization, besides the obvious ones, to get you help traction with deployment of the whole campaign?
So this is going to be basically the whole company campaign in some way, because in some slides I have also that we want to educate employees to talk about this topic, because not all employees are aware enough about this. Also, field force, the whole field force should be basically involved, because they are ones talking to consumers, and of course the whole marketing, digital department, business development, so all the departments are going to be involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you, that's it.
Hi, good afternoon to all. My name is Daniel Stojanovic. Welcome to Biggie Bank's application presentation. Basically, I will make a brief introduction. Then I'll give floor to Sonia, my mentee, who will present the case in more details. So there is agenda of this presentation. This agenda of this presentation, basically, I will walk you through the intro. So we will start with what we do, what we need. So basically, the whole story started with keeping in mind our customer, and basically the times have changed and the habits changed, the people changed, and the needs changed. So digitalization is a must for the banking sector, and not being digital today is not an option. So basically, addressing the youth segment and rejuvenation of our customer base is a must for the banking industry, and I can say that the banking industry is coping with this and need constant improvement. So basically, what will this new online world bring us is basically we are trying to shift the part of the business from the branches to the digital channels in order to offset the workload on the branches. What should it bring? So what are the expected business outcomes? So basically, first, what we expect is to increase acquisition rate. So increasing offering by the tailor-made by the, let's say, novelty to the product of the products to the market will bring us additional benefits of having new clients. Increase customer loyalty definitely by having a tailor-made product for these purposes will definitely have impact on the loyalty, especially among the youngsters, and increased efficiency. So as I mentioned, the idea of having shifted the part of the business to digital channels will definitely impact the cost-to-income ratio of the banks. So basically, how we can get from what we want to what we need. OTP Startup Program, this is where OTP Startup Program jumps in. Basically, it's international partnership program where the OTP group is having access to the best-in-class startups from all over the world. And basically, the program is conceived in a way that have two phases. Basically, pilot phases is starting with 3 months pilot, and after, in case of the positive rollout decision, we are moving to rollout phase. So once we have identified the needs, the startups from all over the Europe came to OTP Bank, offered the solution. We have selected criteria that we basically evaluated the startups, elected, and started with the process. What is our solution? What is our new product? Sonia will explain.
Thank you. Our product, our solution is a mobile application that enables you to save money in a fun and convenient way. So you can probably imagine when you were a child, you would get these savings books back in Yugoslavia. Well, piggy banks is a solution that is supposed to represent a modern-day saving book for children all around Serbia and as well their parents. So as we said, this app is meant for parents and children and is supposed to represent a family banking solution that, again, is supposed to make saving more accessible to children. It's supposed to introduce them to saving and make the whole process more convenient and fun for both the child and the parent. So how does it work? The parent downloads the application and signs up, makes a new profile. And within this profile, they can add a child. And this will mitigate the risk when it comes to the actual consent, as the parent will be able to consent for themselves and for their child by ticking a simple box when signing up and making up a profile. As for the features, there are a couple of different features within the app. This is not purely just a savings app. We're going to have an educational aspect, a gamification element, as well as discounts, a social network within the app, and parental control. First, we have saving, most importantly. So within the app, the users, the parent, can make a new virtual piggy bank that they can assign for a particular product that they want to save money and buy. For example, it could be a bike. So they can enter the price of this bike, and every single day they can allocate a certain amount of money from their bank account into this virtual piggy bank for the purpose of saving for this item. And as their savings grow every single day, the virtual piggy within the application is also going to grow. On to the educational aspect. So this app is also meant to have an educational component, and it's not purely just a savings app. So within the app, there's going to be a quiz which will test certain knowledge on certain financial concepts that the child can solve and do, as well as the parent. And if it is done correctly, as a prize will be given piggy points that can then be used on certain discounts. We'll tell you more about this later. So we mentioned a gamification element. The star of our whole application, the star of the show is Piggy. And he in a way gives a nice and engaging interface for the child and for the parent when they open and use this application. Something that we plan to do in the future is to enable Piggy to be customized. So as you can see, a boombox or sunglasses or some other accessory can be attached onto Piggy. Also, we have discounts. So when collecting these Piggy points that we told you about earlier, this can have the parent and the child be eligible for certain discounts. It is important to mention that these will be percentage discounts. They won't be cashback offers. Next, we have the social network. Within the application Piggy Banks, there will be an option of adding family and friends to your group where you can all share your goals, your savings goals, and as well as whether you have saved up all the money for your goal and whether you, at what point of saving you're in. So this is quite an engaging aspect of our application. Also, to end it, we have parental control. It is very important to mention that everything that the child does within the app is completely in control of the parent. And the parent can, for example, give certain tasks to the child. For example, clean your room or make your bed. And when the child does this, the parent can make a decision on what the suitable price for this would be. So whether it be Piggy points or a certain amount of money being deposited into a virtual piggy bank for the purpose of buying a bike. For the implementation, it's going to be done in 2 phases. The first is the pilot, and the second one is the go live phase. The pilot phase has 3 different milestones. This is the app customization, app testing, and survey and reporting. We're almost done with this phase, and something that we concluded is that there was a 100% successful runtime of this app. So it was all the features that we had installed within Piggy Banks. They worked perfectly. Also, as for the satisfaction, the users that were testing this application have ranked their satisfaction as a 4.5 out of a 5-point scale, which is very good. We have also conducted a survey. This helped us see if our Piggy Banks application has truly resonated with the users, and we have had some good results with that too. So more than 75% of parents would highly recommend this app to their friends. Most importantly, we have gotten a positive rollout decision for this application, which means that we can go on to the go live phase, which Daniel is going to tell you more about.
Yes. If you remember at the beginning, we had very modest expectation about the application, but based on what we have based on what we have done in previous period, it's definitely that we have realized that this application is offering a significant room for the further improvements. And basically, we have identified challenges. That's most important. We have identified them, and we are having this implementation phase as a time to cope with them. What are they? Basically, technical integration. OTP Group in Serbia has experienced one of the biggest and most complex integration in May. So basically, this would be very challenging for us. Digital compliance, top-down digital mindset, what is very important, especially in the organizations that are having legacy of different people, different banks, and different organizations. We also assume that negative HR impact, since we are trying to lower the number of the branches, could potentially rise. Fraud and identity theft is something that is definitely linked to the digital solutions. And since we are working with startup, there is third-party risk management that currently is also under investigation. But look on the opportunities that we can further explore and that we can leverage on. So data collection, very important. We will try to monetize data collection as much as possible. This is basically will be used for the tailor-made product. So if we collect quality data through the application, this had huge and enormous potential for the preparation of tailor-made products for the future bank. Loyalty program, various number of the loyalty program, various number of partnerships that we can organize with our existing clients, cross-sale effect, of course, because this is only one part of the offer that the bank is having, and the final goal is overall better customer experience. So going forward to the financial standing, It's confidential, but I assume we all sign NDAs. And basically, what it shows is pretty encouraging results. The NPV for the next 5 years is actually 1.5 million euros. The assumptions that we have been using here is quite conservative. We have leverage on the existing customer base and only on the incrementals that we're planning to have. So merged OTP Bank is having 1 million of the 1 million retail active customers. So huge base based on which we are planning to leverage. And as you can see from the financial, it seems very promising. At the end, this is Piggy. Stay tuned and download the app. Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. Interesting project. And I wanted to ask you, because with this application and with the current system that OTP Bank uses, do you feel that you have enough internal expertise in the development of the features that you have presented and data analytics that you will be getting from the app? And in essence, what additional resources would you need organizationally, and if yes, which?
Definitely, this is a project that needs to be followed by the organizational setup, and I would say a huge support of OTP HQ. That's basically how the project started. So OTP Group is having significant experience. This is 4 years in a row that OTP has organized this startup program. So whole setup is there. It's challenging for the local bank because we have experienced very complex merger in last months, but we believe that new organization that is, let's say, constructed in a way to support digital business is upon some adjustment would be reliable enough to go with this project.
Very clear case for me. Congrats. Just wanted to ask about this startup way of doing. How many of the startups or the ideas coming from there are really getting implemented? And do you see opportunities there? And overall, what would be the learnings from this whole very exciting way of approaching new trends?
Actually, as I said, 4 years in a row is quite experience for the group to understand how this startup cooperation is functioning. Basically, you are right. There are no all success stories. We have experienced during the last 4 years that some project at the beginning looked very promising, but at the end it was total catastrophe. So basically, that's why importance of the long-standing process and let's say experience in previous period comes in because the experts that are electing the startups, the way how they are assessing the criteria, how they are deciding based on are something that OTP Group is having is very important to assess whether this startup. All feedback that we have received up to now is quite positive.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess it's quite normal that as long as 51% succeed, it's okay.
Yes, definitely.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for presentation. I have 3 short questions. First one, how do you plan to control kids, how they do that by themselves, some kind of parents control? Do you have that some kind of solution?
We are thinking about it. If you're asking how I will control the children when I give some tasks to children, there's different options. Maybe we can use camera for some confirmation of something that is done. Maybe for okay, let's do homework. He can or she can send me the homework. That's the way how we'll control the interaction between parents and child.
Okay, that was second question. How do you have any list of tasks, probably? And
actually, we are still considering what is the final list of tasks, but the potential is huge, and we have started with the modest expectation also in this part, meaning okay, do your homework, I don't know, make your bed or something like that. Then we realize that we can use this channel as well, for example, for the school task. To check children whether they do their school task and many other things. So basically, this is under development. We started with the basics.
Okay, and third one is about social media. You said, you know, it is very difficult to become some kind of social media, but I think that what should help you in that sense that it will be some kind of competition between families and peoples around the application. Is it possible like that?
Yes, this is one of our ideas. The gamification is something that we need to work on, but gamification and focusing on the piggy banks group or piggy banks world is something that is supposed to be, let's say, focused in next period. That's exactly what we are thinking about.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Može aplauz.
Let's have a short break and give time to our jury members to decide who are the winners. Okay?
So, dear finalists, welcome back. And thank you for having a bit of patience with us. And thank you for everything you did today, for all the great presentations today, but also for the work in the last couple of months that you have delivered to your companies, to us, to yourself, to your future. So we had, as a jury, we had a bit of a debate here because it was extremely interesting final. We had 3 different projects in 3 different areas, actually, and 3 different approaches to the business task. And it was really interesting and a bit maybe complex to compare the whole, all the right criteria that were not same or that you tried from different areas of the business to emphasize. What we found in a winning team as the reasoning for the decision is that we felt the biggest stretch was made from, like, let's say, integral blank piece of paper to the very concrete KPIs in the business case of the whole concept of the ideas. And we also felt it is an incremental value to the business of the company for the winning team that was delivered. Potentially, it's up to you to win your top management over. And we also felt that in the relationship of the mentor and the mentee, there was a very good development progress and a very nice communication where we felt that both mentor and mentee really fulfilled their roles to the maximum. So without further ado, the winning team are Mirjana and Milan from Banca Intesa. So congratulations. And just for the other finalists, really great job. Feel proud of yourself as well. Those were great projects. We see a great potential in them, but some distance was created by Mirjana and Milan. Congratulations again.
Once again, thank you all for participating and being part of the MTS program in this special year.
Yeah.
we would especially like to thank to our jury members for taking care of our finalists, and for our finalists for participating in the program and being part of it until the end. Tina and I have decided that we will have one also final event for all the participants, where we'll have certificate award ceremony at the end of June. So it will be opportunity for all of you to join us at the Open in live event. So I think that will be very nice as a wrap up of this year and a half of everything but not live meetings. So, and for today's final event, we will like you to take a joint photo. Due to the measures, we would kindly ask you to go in the garden and to finalize this today's event with the joint photo. So once again, thank you all, and see you we hope that we will see our jury members as well at the June cocktail and awards ceremony. Thank you.